Yo, how much rum have you drank, yo? I'm telling you. That's your cue. We've only done this 11 times. Jesus Christ.
Well, no, I thought there was another part to it. I really did. I really did. I really, really did.
Well, that's going to be our blooper, I bet. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of
ESPOOKYS Talk.
That's right, guys. Your favorite podcast is back. Sorry for the late release here, but as some of you know out there, I just moved into some new digs, and here we are in the new place.
It has the perfect vibe.
Oh, man. I am vibing. Live, laugh, love. It's right there on my wall.
Yes, it is.
You know what I'm saying? I am Arturo. And here with always the brujaha of all brujahas, herself, Eva.
Hey, everybody. So we still haven't heard from you. Where are you people at?
Dang. Guys.
Gotta call them out.
You can email. In our bio, we have a link. I mean, there's so many ways that you can get your information to us, your questions, your queries, even your stories. I want to hear it all, guys, and it's all you can send it to us all. If you want the email, of course, it's ESPOOKYStalk, ESPOOKYSTALK @gmail.com.
Okay, so with that said, please leave us comments, show the love. We definitely read them, and I will look up anything you have questions about.
Yeah, show the love.
But if you have been feeling just not quite yourself, it's a little bit not your fault. Probably mostly your fault, but not all of it.
How's that, though?
That is because Venus is in retrograde right now, which means that the planet's orbit's a little slower than normal, and it gives the illusion that it's moving backwards.
Backward?
Yeah, but it's just an illusion. So, how does that affect us, right? So it affects us in our relationships that people come out of the woodworks.
Oh.
So old exes might be trying to come back, rekindle that love.
Mine better not be.
Reach out. Might be liking your stuff on social media.
Negatory.
Okay. But also you want to reevaluate kind of your friendship. So you start to see who is a real friend and who's not. Which family, helps you grow and which one chops you down. So it's just an evaluation. But I think it's just interesting how it affects our relationships.
I think it's so interesting on how everything around us in the universe does affect everything.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah?
I mean, that's just one aspect.
Yeah?
So then we go into finances. So it's time to review those budgets, reconsider new ways to make a dollar. New ways. Might be a new job. You might just get up one day and say, I'm done with this job, moving on to the next.
Hey, we work together, man. Does that mean that you think I should maybe get a new job?
No, absolutely not. It would make my job a lot harder.
Oh, man.
No one can replace you. You do a great job.
Oh, thank you.
Shout out to you.
Shout out to me.
So then we go into self-reflection. Because if you don't reflect on yourself and you're not trying to be a better person, today's the day to start. You want to empower yourself by looking in. You want to figure out, hey, am I happy with my life? Or do I need to do X, Y, and Z to make it better? You want to start doing things that bring you joy.
You know what brings me joy?
What brings you joy?
Yeah, Spookies Talk.
That's right.
Oh, man.
Because we don't want to be in the universe. We don't have it.
Oh, my gosh. No one wants to live in that universe.
Nobody.
No. A Spookies Talk for president. That's what I'm going with.
Let's go. So in the category of self-love, because that's really important, it's time to treat yourself. Time to pamper yourself with things that bring you joy. Whether that's, for us girls, I like to go get my nails done. I like to re-dye my hair. It's currently green.
Nice.
For the month of March.
For the month of March.
Also because I love money.
Who doesn't? Money, money, money.
Yes, and that doesn't mean that I'm a materialistic person. It just means that I know that money has an energy, and that energy could take me places.
You know, they say that money can't buy happiness. And I truly feel that whoever said that didn't have any money.
Facts.
Facts.
Because I would be traveling. I would own a house, a haunted house. If anybody out there has a haunted house for sale and it is affordable and a teacher's salary, leave a comment.
Just, you're in.
Send me an email.
Oh, man.
Well, I mean, first I'm going to ask the ghost if I could be their roommate. And we could work together. They'd be like, free security system.
Boom.
Like, who's at my house?
Boom.
Just take them out.
There you go.
Anyways, now that I'm done daydreaming, back to how Venus retrograde affects our creativity. It's time to finish those unfinished projects.
I have a few of those.
It's time to finish them.
I mean, look around. Well, I have a lot of projects around this place. I get it.
Gotta get them done.
Oh, man. All right.
And then it affects our emotional issues. So it's time to revisit issues, especially with loved ones. It's time to be the bigger person. Let them know that you love and care for them, but that you're going to set healthy boundaries because you love yourself first.
Interesting enough, I don't have any estranged relationships with any family members that I'm aware of.
Really? Tell me more.
What else could I say? I mean, I just don't. I'm kind of I used to be not really a great person in my opinion. And now I'm just so like, go with the flow. Everything's good. You know, you see the best in everything if you can. I really don't have any issues. I have some family members, but there's some issues and I just don't have any issues. I love them all.
Seems like you have already evaluated who you're going to keep and who you're going to let go in relationships. So, I mean, and Venus will be in retrograde until April 12th.
Okay.
So we got some time
to
keep pampering ourselves and to finish our unfinished projects.
All right. Now you were mentioning something about, was it Mercury?
Yes. So on Monday, as if Venus in retrograde wasn't enough, we're also going to have Mercury in retrograde starting Monday. So expect lots of technology hiccups.
No.
Traveling delays.
No.
Or other inconveniences that relate to any form of communication, as Mercury represents communication.
Man, that's just bad news for a lot of people out there who do traveling and who work in the industries kind of near us. I don't know if all of you guys out there in the Twitter sphere know where we live. We live in Mountain View, California, which is, man, this is Silicon Valley. This is, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is the technology capital, not just California, but the whole, I mean, Google. I could throw a rock and hit Google from here.
Yeah,
you know, just
for sure.
Crazy. Man, can you picture Google going down?
No, absolutely not. Not allowed.
Come on, Mercury. Don't do all that to us.
Yeah, for reals. So what should you do? Like, what is, with the bad, there's always the good, right? Okay. It's time to look inward. So it's time of reflection. So if you haven't started a journal or therapy, this is your sign to go do it.
All right.
As it'll bring clarity and you won't feel so frustrated or like you won't have that feeling of, should I do this or this? You'll just know. You'll just know what to do. But you have to put in the work of making sure you journal what it is that you want, what's bothering you, and just really getting to know yourself, like your true self. So the signs that are mostly going to be affected are the signs in any of your birth chart placements. So you want to look into that. It's going to be Aries, Virgo, Aquarius, and Taurus.
So what does that mean?
That means that, for example, I'm an Aries sun. So that means that when it comes to how I go about things, like my mindset might be different than what I want it to be. So like Venus is making me be a little more impulsive and I'm not able to work on my patience as much as I would like to. So I just need, being aware of that will help me be like, okay, deep breath before I make an action.
Gotcha. All right. Good to know. So that doesn't really affect me too much, is what you're saying? Because I'm a Cancer.
We'll see. You got to go and look at your birth chart. Because
Right.
we are a little
If
bit of
only
everything.
we had a resident bruja who can maybe do me a solid and look up my birth chart. You know, after this episode, I might reach out and ask her.
Yeah, leave a comment. I'll write back.
I will comment immediately.
I mean, we even have a Facebook. Like, I'm happy to do that for you guys. It would be fun.
Yeah, is Spooky Talk?
It would bring me joy.
Well, you heard it here first, everyone. You can get your own birth chart reading right here from our very own resident bruja, Eva.
Yeah, I would use astrocafeastrology.com because it's free. Shout out to them.
Shout out.
No, they're not a sponsor. Wish they were.
Hey, if you're part of those people, man,
Hit us up.
hit us up. We could use a sponsor. So, along with the planets in retrograde, I hear there's a big something happening coming up here with the moon.
So I was reflecting. And as I was journaling, like I do sometimes, this Friday, March 14th, at 11:26 p.m., we're going to have an eclipsed moon. And it's also called the blood moon
Ooh.
because it will be of a red color. Normally, during a full moon, it's a great time to let go of things and manifest. Well, you don't want to do that with this moon.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why not?
Instead, you want to do shadow work, which is letting go of habits that no longer suit you or goals that didn't quite pan out. You want to just like let them go so that you can start a new slate during the new moon and use the lunar cycle to keep you on task, right? To accomplish your goal.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does. It does make sense. And I feel it. I feel that vibe that you're, to get rid of the things that are kind of holding you back and holding you down and start over new and using the power of the moon. I love that.
And actually, farmers have been doing this for centuries. They plant certain flowers during certain moon phases so that they're most successful.
Interesting. You know what I think is interesting?
What else is interesting?
Well, being the spooky stuff that I am, there's
Right.
also so many different things that are either paranormal or otherwise that are associated with the moon, and specifically a full and blood moon. And those are the kind of things that really trip me out.
Okay, I'm so happy you brought that up because as I was reflecting, I was thinking, like, the moon is powerful enough to control an ocean,
Yeah.
like the waves of the ocean.
Absolutely.
Well, we're made out of water, like a high percentage. I want to guesstimate like 75.
Wow.
Okay. So I'm thinking maybe that's why they came up with the word lunatic.
Oh,
Like, think about it. Like, by Latin base, lunatic means, like, luna in Spanish means moon. So, like, lunatic, by definition, is a crazy person or a silly person, depending in what context you use it, right? But it all came from being affected by the moon.
totally. If I remember correctly, it originates from Latin word, but I know the meaning of it was moonstruck. Delivered from Luna Moon, reflecting on a historical belief that mental instability was influenced by moon phases. I just think that's super interesting.
Yeah, like, think about it. That's why it's important to notice. Like, sometimes when I'm acting a little silly, I'll look up and I'll be like, oh, it's because it's almost a full moon. Makes sense.
Makes sense.
And you see it, like, on days like the full moon, there have been many reports of crazy activity from our law enforcement. Law enforcement and first responders, they'll tell you that there's high activity during full moons. So it's just really interesting. So I'm like, what else does the moon affect besides us humans?
And werewolves, shape-shifting savages, you know what I mean? That you've seen them in TV, you've seen them in comics, you've seen them in movies. You know what I
Right.
mean? But it's often associated with a full moon. Like werewolves have just this huge history. It dates back all the way to ancient Greece, you know, but they believed that wolves were the tools of the devil. And that the animals were, you know, they were ruthlessly hunted and all these different things. And the mentally ill were often convinced that they were turning in and becoming some of these creatures. And that's how it kind of evolved into the myth of the werewolf.
See, I've heard things like that they're cursed. You know, it's like a generational curse, essentially, right? Or that it's like a gift to like Native Americans. And see, I'm not sure if like I read that through folklore or if it's just been movies and shows. At this point, it's all been mixed together.
Oh, totally.
But I do know that silver is a weakness for both werewolves and vampires. And vampires thrive on a full moon.
Really?
Yeah.
See? I love that. I love it. I love that there's, you know, those kind of stories. And vampires, it's so vast. Like everything from the actual bat turning into a human form all the way to just, you know, living among us and just being, you know, hundreds and hundreds of years old, you know, just being immortal. So I don't know. It's very interesting. Of course, I'm Team Jacob. I don't know if you guys do that because I ain't going to lie to you guys. Jacob took his shirt off of me and I went, wow, wow, that's impressive. Werewolves are mythological creatures and they're often depicted as humans who can transform into wolves or wolf-like creatures.
Right.
And that basically something about the power of the full moon, you know, gives them the ability to change. And it's not even, I hate to use the word ability. It is an ability to change, but what happens is I don't think they can control it. I think is how it's depicted. That it's something like you're mentioning, like a generational curse where they actually just kind of, they can't control it. And if you believe any of these movies, if you believe any of these things that kind of depict and show you their version of all of this, a lot of the times they know it happens to them. And that means that they try their best to either limit the transition or to limit the damage that they cause because they can't control themselves after the transition. And I think that's just crazy because you use that with like lunatics and things like that. And maybe that mental illness or whatever the effect of the moon is, it's all very similar. Like if I went crazy all the time, every time full moon came out, maybe in my psyche, I picture myself as a werewolf, as something that's transitioning and unable to control myself. Maybe it's not a physical transformation. Maybe it's mental. Who knows? It's all very, very interesting.
See, and that's, you know, as we're progressing towards a goal, right? Because as humans, we have goals, right?
Sure.
And so using the moon phase to do this and like letting go during the full moon just makes sense. So that mentally you're not going loony, right?
Yeah.
So it's just interesting.
All different kinds of cultures, all different types of people out there. They all have different versions of everything.
Yeah, but they're so similar.
They are similar, but it's just, if it's not similar in how it's perceived, whether it's a werewolf, whether it's a whatever, right?
Right.
It is similar in the fact that the power comes from the same location, the moon.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. And I don't know much about it, guys. It's something I was reading the other day about some Irish Celtic mythology. And Fomorians is like a race of demonic giants. Demonic giants, right? Ancient occupants of Ireland, you know? And they too come out and have something to do with, I don't know if it's lunar cycles or if it's just the full moon. I'm not sure. But it's crazy because these giant creatures, they have multiple eyes, multiple mouths, extra extremities, just creepiness.
See, but now that you said multiple eyes and multiple mouths, like I think real versions of angels look like that.
What?
Yeah. Like real angels don't look like what we see as like human-like.
Just beautiful people with beautiful wings and white gowns with feathers and all this
nope.
crazy stuff. No, not
like it's like this like ball full of eyes and wings.
Interesting.
So I'm like, okay, this is just one perception, right? Like perspective.
It's interesting that you say that because angels and things like that have always been given like a particular, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Like I give you the angel of death. You know, if they wanted to assign an angel to death, you know, and things like that, these things that I'm talking about, like the Pharmarians, if that was something that you thought was angel-like, I don't want to call it angelic, but you know what I'm saying, angel-like, they associated that with things like drought and plague and crop blight. So I mean, there's so many different things, and you know, there are angels and saints and etc. assigned to all of these different things. Really, really cool. Really crazy.
Yeah, it's just really interesting.
Thanks.
That was such a big part of Irish history.
Yes. Yes.
Like such a big part.
Absolutely.
Shout out to all the Irish people out there. This is your Heritage Month.
Yeah. And if you guys are kind of into folklore and things like that, there was one that was, I was reading it just the other day. It's Tibetan. And it's called something like a tupla.
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 That name just gives me shivers.
Those two were... It's crazy because we just talked about this. When you can manifest something with just the belief of a group of people. Do you remember we were talking about that?
We were talking about that.
So it's a very special kind of imaginary thought form that was willed into existence by a group, you know, and through their ritual and intense concentrations and stuff. And these creatures, they willed them right into existence. It's crazy. And if you read about them, you know, it talks about that they're mystical and that but they do crazy things. According to the folklore, you know, they're horrid and they have horrible, crazy intentions. And the popularity of the tupla has actually been growing, much because I think that with social media, with all of these different methods of communication, that more people are intrigued and are now kind of believing in some of these things, like when we were talking about Slender Man and some of these other different types of manifestations. So those egregores, and I'm telling you, it's mind-boggling, you know, how they make their way into popular culture. Egregores are everywhere. They really are.
It's just wild that it starts off as like something, right? Like an idea or a concept. Like who put it there? Who started it first?
I don't know.
But then it just like picks up on it. And pretty soon everybody sees it. And like you said, with internet access and memes, who doesn't love a good meme?
I do love a kitten playing the piano.
The cat holding on.
Just hang in there. Oh,
that gets me through the day.
You know, it does. It really does.
But yeah, these egregores, like, starts off as an idea and just picks up like a little parasite. Oh my goodness, what if it's a parasite?
Yeah.
Just feeding off of our dimension.
Do you remember me mentioning the Rougarou?
Okay, yes, but these names are all terrifying.
So the Rougarou is a shape-shifting creature that when we were down in New Orleans and I was speaking to someone down in, I think it was, Lori, where were we? We were near Pierre Part, I think, when I was talking to that guy. And he was explaining the Rougarou, which is, like I said, it's almost a shape-shifting, crazy creature that it's very similar to a werewolf. But what makes him nastier? Razor-sharp teeth, glowing red eyes. Because swamps aren't scary enough, right? You know, you give him a little home on the bayou, and it seems like you put it all together, and you have this crazy figure of Cajun folklore that kind of preys on just about everything. And it's so intense and it's so embedded in their culture that people, when they see these things, right, and the sightings are quite frequent, that they actually call like police and things to come out, like the Rougarous here. Like, it's not just like, let's go get a curandero that kind of help do the limpia. Yeah. It's not like that. They're so terrified for their safety at that moment that they literally call law enforcement and other agencies to come and help them.
Okay, but in Mexico, they do a very similar thing with chupacabras.
Oh.
Like, farmers will actually call law enforcement to investigate their goats when they have no more blood left. So how interesting that in this folklore, it's a werewolf.
Yeah.
And the chupacabras is like a vampire.
It's a vampire blood-sucking dog, right?
Yeah,
like demon dog.
Demon dog. And so it's just so interesting because both of these legends, I'm going to put on my logical hat, okay? Both of these legends have been used to scare children into behaving. But there's evidence of things actually going on that law enforcement is being called.
That's so cultural. It's so cultural. Because I know that we get scared into everything.
Yeah, we talked about it in episode 1.
We sure did.
Season 1 with La Llorona.
Yep. True that.
And you best believe I was behaving.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't about to go outside and get snatched up by a weeping woman who's trying to take my soul to... No. But
when you put all of this energy, it has to go somewhere, right?
It's so true.
So, and we were talking about egregores. And then so from telling this story over and over again, that then, you're a farmer, you tell this story that scares the children into behaving. And then out of nowhere, the goat or the mini goats, and one of them actually has no blood and you don't know from where.
Yeah.
Like, why wasn't the rest of the body eaten?
I don't know.
So must have not been natural.
And if it was attacked by another animal, why is there no like evidence of a kill, of like a struggle, of stuff being ripped out of them for food and things like just puncture wounds and no blood? That's just crazy.
Yeah, and it's like fang marks. And so the police go out there and they try to investigate, and they're like, there's paw marks, and it's different from different types of the world, with their stories, but it's happening. Why is it happening and no one's doing anything about it?
I don't know.
So again, when something happens and it's not your business, walk away.
Walk away.
Walk away.
Just walk away, guys.
If it's too close, run away.
Run away, guys.
Do not go and try to investigate the ESPOOKYS by yourself.
I run only when chased. I have co-founded ESPOOKYS stock, and I'm running away from the ESPOOKYS if it's coming to get me. I'm gone. I'm Audi 5000.
1, 2, 3, bye.
1, 2, bye. Have you ever heard of a Wendigo?
I think it's pronounced Wendigo, right?
Is it?
It looks like a deer.
Sure.
Like its body is like a black shadow.
Wendigo? Have you ever heard of a Wendigo?
Yes, and it will come and knock on your door.
Well, the word actually means the evil spirit that devours mankind.
Well, now I'm just scared.
I'm telling you. It's associated with things like taboos against murder. It's absolutely crazy. And it appears as like a 14-foot tall humanoid monster that has like an infinite hunger for like flesh. Some of these cryptids are just creepy. And they freak me out. You know?
But help me out. They're called the Appalachian Mountains? Appalachians. Thank you.
You're welcome.
English is my second language. Okay. So with that said, people who live out there, they will get random knocks or like mimics.
Yeah.
And so can you imagine? You're in your home with all this vast land and in these beautiful mountains, and then you hear, like, what do you do? Like, everyone that lives in the home is home, And, sometimes they'll go as far as mimicking like your pet. And so like you'll see your pet next to you and then you'll see your pet outside and it's trying to lure you out.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Nuts.
And then
just nuts.
And it'll try it multiple times. And that's why a lot of the people out there, you have to let them know that you're coming because otherwise they're not opening that door. Which I don't blame them. I wouldn't either.
I don't blame them at all. It's funny that you bring up the Appalachians because the Appalachian Mountains, there's so many different cryptids. There's so many different things out there because in those mountainous regions, there's areas that just are unexplored. They've all been explored, but they're not explored often. It's a place where things can kind of hide and take form and evolve and do all these crazy things because the Appalachian cryptids, man, that's a big list.
Oh, I bet.
It is a big list.
But I've heard of the Wendigo being popular there, or any
Totally.
type where there's a forest, and then just it's always a dark figure, okay? But it's like a deer, like a reindeer. Think King of the Forest.
Yeah.
Like Bambi's dad.
Bambi's dad.
Yeah, like I'm serious. They got the big horns, and it's interesting to me because the spirit of the forest is like a deer, like a big deer, a male deer, right? With these big, beautiful antlers. And so for the Wendigo to be the counterpart to that, being so similar, is just fascinating.
It's creepy is what it is.
So again, just don't go into the woods by yourself.
No. Geez, this had to be a solid year ago when I was reading about some cryptids and things like that from the Appalachians and stuff. There was one that really, really tripped me out. You ready?
Like you still scared?
Well, I'm a California guy. And Bigfoot's a big thing to me. I love reading about Sasquatch and Bigfoot and the cousins and the Yeti and all. I love all that stuff. I read about something called a raven mocker. Have you ever heard of a raven mocker?
No, but I'm assuming that it mimics a raven.
It comes from Cherokee legend, if I remember correctly.
And tread lightly here, because ravens are my spirit animal.
Okay, well, it's not a raven. Okay, so it comes from Cherokee legend, and a raven mocker is like it's like a 7 or 8 foot tall, black furred, shape shifting Bigfoot. And the crazy part about this is that it's believed to inhabit like Virginia-ish areas, right?
Okay.
It's able to shift into like different animals and take on the appearance of humans, like an old man or woman. And in its human forms, it can lurk among unsuspecting people, so it can like live amongst you. And here's the craziest part. It can eat their hearts from their chests without even leaving a mark. No. That is a chupacabra on steroids. You're going to eat my heart out of my chest without even leaving. No.
Whoa.
I know I love that
I'm so shocked.
You just got the big doe eyes right now, like you in headlights. I remember reading about that and it just really tripped me out.
No, but it does look like a giant raven.
Oh, did you just look it up?
Yeah.
Yes. It looks like a raven?
Which shocked me even more. It's like Bigfoot and a raven merged together by AI.
Like they had a baby?
Like AI merged them together because you typed it in. And so it's an evil spirit out there in the world. Just taking hearts. Well, hopefully, I hope that it's taking bad hearts and not good hearts.
I'm hoping it's not taking any hearts, man. That scares me.
No, I mean, if it's out there, it's probably real. And now I've just realized that by talking about it,
power.
We're giving it power, and now it's an egregore.
Because energy is infinite. I'm telling you. Whew. There's a lot of stuff out there.
Okay, but now I can't stop picturing going into the forest, on a hike. Just, it's a beautiful day. And encountering this? No, thank you. Ready, sit, bye.
Bye-bye. There's a lot of stuff out there. back east, I mean, things like I could just name them off, like the Wampus Beast or the Smoke Wolf or Mothman.
Ooh, let's talk about Smoke Wolf since we're talking about like forest creatures. That's the vibe today.
Let me see if I can remember this one.
Okay.
I think it's solid black, like a smoke wolf. It's like a massive canine type cryptid with red eyes. They howl, they scream at night. They're pure evil, and people say that they kill for fun.
Just gonna say that. I think that's more terrifying.
They say that the only thing that actually deters it, that gets rid of it, is the sound of rattling chains. Why is that? Why is that?
Who goes around carrying rattling chains in their pocket?
Well, dude, if there's a smoke wolf around, I'm carrying chains everywhere I go.
Okay, so now we're up to silver bullets. Rattling chains.
Uh-huh. Yep.
They have to be able to rattle, or otherwise don't bring them.
What about wooden spikes for the vampire?
For the vampire. Yeah. You know what, though? Vampires cannot touch silver.
It's what they say.
They say it burns them.
It's what they say.
Because like even holding a cross up doesn't do anything to them. But if the cross is made out of silver, it has been said that it'll save you. I just say, lock up your house.
Oh man. One of these days I think we should take I always say that we should take a road trip. I always say that.
Oh my God. If you talk about the Clown Motel one more time.
You brought up the Clown Motel last time. Thank you very little. And I think it would be a great road trip, and we're going there.
I just wanted to buy Big Ben a clown.
I'm going to make that happen. But what I was going to say is, we should make a trip out to something like the Appalachians. If we took a week just to kind of hang around and do Virginia and West Virginia, some of those areas over there, there's so much. There's so much. The Appalachian Mountains are often perceived as having a super strong paranormal association due to just a bunch of factors. Ancient history, the crazy landscapes, and the fact that the people of that area they really hold on to their legends and their folklore. It's passed down through generations out there because the belief is so strong. And those are the areas that I want to visit. I think if you and I went over there and talked to I think that's the area we need to go visit. Stuff like that.
My intuition saying no, thank you.
Oh my goodness gracious.
I'm just letting you know, but am I going to do it anyways? Of course. I think it'd be so cool. I think I want to invite people that have outdoorsy skills. Because if something dragged me into the forest, I better be able to survive.
Oh, no, we're good. I'll help you.
Okay. You just said you were 1-2. Bye.
Yeah, 1-2 bye. I just looked up what state has the most cryptids.
Oh, geez.
Are you ready?
Okay, what
do you think?
I'm going to say Virginia.
You're so close. West Virginia. West Virginia has the best cryptids and the most variety. They've got Flatwoods Monster. They've got I don't know. There's so many here to name. It's just redunculous.
I like that my intuition was only half correct.
Well, I think it's something we gotta do.
Because half of my intuition's in, but the other half's like, no, I'm good.
Nah, we could do it. I feel it. They have a lot of stuff over there too, like, the Mothman. The Mothman being a cryptid of a flying moth-like humanoid with red eyes, and that when it appears that there's usually some type of a tragedy, a catastrophe or something, and they're not 100% sure if it's there causing this havoc or if it's there to warn the humans about the tragedy coming up. But regardless, places like West Virginia, where it's originated, they actually embrace those cryptids, and they have things like the Mothman Festival.
We are going to the Mothman Festival. When is it? Let me buy my ticket. I'm already there.
I do not know, but I think that's super cool. We got to do that. I'll bring all the stuff. We'll record there.
Well, did you know that they have a Mothman statue?
Yes.
So I guess we're going to Point Pleasanton, West Virginia.
West Virginia. Here we come.
If anybody out in West Virginia listening, feel free to host us.
True that.
I want to be like
Anyone out
integrated
there-
with the community,
Yes. Yes. Or at least give us your insight on some of those cryptids, and I'll send you out some ESPOOKYS swag.
Yeah, we got you.
Little sticker, little hat, little t-shirt, something. Well, I know we covered a lot of stuff. Everything from moon cycles to Mothman. I mean, that's a pretty wide range, but I really think we're onto something. Taking care of yourself, doing those things, I think is super important. Mining that being mindful that the moon cycles are changing, knowing what that entails and what's going to happen, and then everything from what that also, the other side, what the moon is. I hate to use the word controlling, but definitely influencing. Whether it's cryptids, whether it's paranormal activity, whether it's just the 75% water that's in your body.
Again, that's an estimate. Feel free to comment what the actual percentage is.
Yeah, but I just think I think we covered a lot. It's good to be around this table, guys, especially in the new joint. I really kind of like it, and I think if any of you guys out there wanna like let us know your story, maybe I invite you over, man. I ain't lying. You can come on down, or we'll come to you. And as you guys know, with our stories with Big Ben and my brother and a whole bunch of other people who are telling us stories, man, I would love to hear from you. That email again is espookiestalk@gmail.com, or right in our bio, man, there's a link that you can send Eva, the brujaha of all brujahas, a message directly.
But I think that's amazing. I do think everything's connected. I've said that before. But I do think that if you take anything from this podcast, it is that you're willing to journal when you're frustrated starting Monday instead of snapping at someone, or what I call projecting on someone.
Projecting.
Yeah, let's make the world a better place.
Make the world a better place, and beware of those things that can eat your heart out of your chest without you even knowing it. Crazy talk. But it is that time, and as we gather up all of our thoughts, from, like I say, from covering just about everything under the moon today, when you lay your head down on your little pillow, more than ever, be sure, check under your bed.
Lock your closet doors and lock your mirrors.
It's a spooky time.